Yes, she's gone in and come out very fast too, Recreation, over on the far side. Also, Jaisalmer running very fast, and Naturally Fresh. And Notwood Lil up with them too, but Naturally Fresh with the advantage. Naturally Fresh, Propensity, and Notwood Lil towards the near side with the advantage from Notwood Lil now from Naturally Fresh over on the far side, and also Gaze Flutter right up there, and Forest Flower, Pat Edery coming there strongly too. It's Notwood Lil with the advantage of Naturally Fresh on the far side. Forest Flower, Pat Edery coming there very strongly on the stand side. Gaze Flutter's right up with them too. It's Naturally Fresh and Forest Flower now, and Pat Edery with the advantage towards the near side from Naturally Fresh over on the far side. Propensity is finishing well, but this looks like another for Pat Edery as Forest Flower strides away from him as they race into the closing stages, being pressed by Propensity, but Forest Flower's going to stay there, and at the line Forest Flower is the winner. Propensity is second. Dazzy gets up to be third, just ahead of Naturally Fresh. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4. Forest Flower, Propensity, Dazzy and Naturally Fresh, and what a dazzling winner, Forest Flower. First, number 5, Forest Flower, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Balding and ridden by Pat Edery, his third winner of the meeting. Second, number 15, Propensity, owned by Mr. Gerald Lee, trained by Guy Harwood and ridden by Greville Starkey. And third, number 4, Dazzy, owned by Mr. Tony Stratton-Smith, trained by Ray Lang and ridden by Paul Cook. Fourth was number 11, Naturally Fresh. And this is the winner, and my goodness, how impressive she was. Forest Flower, the very clear and emphatic winner, this daughter of Green Forest out of Leap Lively, as we can review with Julian Wilson.
Yes, this was a brilliant performance at the end of a very fast race. Nutwood Lil with the white sleeves set a blazing gallop. Naturally Fresh was always to the fore, one from the outside. But look at Pat Edery with a noseband, 2 from the right there, absolutely cruising and waiting for his moment to strike. Propensity has also run a terrific race from a little way back. Greville just starting his run now. But now, coming to the furlong, Pat Edery just moves his hands, cruises into the lead from Naturally Fresh. That's the runner-up on the outside, who quickens up really well. And the 3 of them have drawn clear now, although running on particularly well behind the leaders, not in shot at present, is Darcy. But now Pat goes well, and this tiny little filly, well, she's really not very big, lengthens, quickens, and shows herself to be just about the best 2-year-old of either sex we've seen so far. Her first foal of the dam, and what a champion she's bred at the first shot. Second was Propensity, Darcy's got up to be third, and Naturally Fresh was fourth.
Here she is, this filly by Green Forest out of Leap Lively, who was by Nijinsky. An impressive winner on her debut appearance at Newbury. And she beat Bint Pasha by 3 lengths. And a really scintillating winner this afternoon. A third winner of the meeting for Pat Edery, with the single scorers: Greville Starkey today, Willie Carson, Steve Cawthon, who in fact finished last there on that filly who gave, of course, with so much anxiety in the stalls, and other single scorers, Brent Thompson and Cash Asmussen. Cash, who of course won for Leicester yesterday on Cutting Blade, which gives me a chance to endorse what Leicester says, that it was in fact the owner, a very good judge too, Mahmoud Fustak, who bought Cutting Blade, not, as I said at the time, Susan Piggott, who bought about 25 of those in the stable, but this one bought by Mr. Fustak himself, entirely on his own judgment, and what a good judge he is. Pat Edery with Ian, and what a fine filly that great supporter of English racing, Paul Mellon, has in this one. The distance is 3 lengths and 3/4 of a length. Really barely knows she's had a race. Absolutely brilliant. That's number 60 of the season for Pat, and the 20th winner of the season for Ian Balding, who later, of course, fields Her Majesty the Queen's Insula.
Will Mrs. Jill Silver please go to the grandstand arms? Mrs. Jill Silver, would you please go to the grandstand arms?
Filly's family, no stranger to success at Ascot. Leap Lively, Forest Flowers Dam, won the Hoover Fillies Mile. As well, incidentally, as the Lingfield Oaks. And the great crowd now will be thronging round the paddock to see this mammoth field for the Royal Hunt Cup. 32 of them. Forest Flower, meanwhile, the 9-4 joint favourite. She went off. And they're facing a barrage of photographers in a very unconcerned manner. This lovely chestnut filly. Well, she had the remainder trailing, and here, nice to see Steve Cawthon walking through picture there. It looked a very nasty moment in the stalls there. And here the remainder of the starting prices.
First, number 5, Forest Flower, 9-4 joint favourite. Second, number 15, Propensity, 7-1. And third, number 4, Dazi, 20-1. And the total dividends, £3.50 for a win. Places £1.30, £2, £8.30. Dual forecast £9.50.
I'm still pretty warm favourite of 5-4 on. Very warm, I should say. Supreme Leader 5-1. Fair of the first 7-1. 10-1. Bar those three. Well, I think we've only got Supreme Leader to go. No, one more after that, but still, nevertheless, two more, in fact. We've still got bedtime to go as well. But let's give Peter a chance.
And bedtime it is now. Now Wilfer will be the last to be installed for this Prince of Wales Stakes. Still not quite in. The lads giving Brian Rouse all the help they can. Bedtime, 11-8 on now, 5-1 Supreme Leader, 7-1 Fair of the Furs. Wilfer just in, that's it. All installed. And they're away. And Wilfer just a little bit slow. Purchase Paper Chase goes on. And now Windsor Knot. Windsor Knot going on with Bedtime going up on the inside. Fair of the Furs on the outside of Bedtime. Then comes Purchase Paper Chase on the inside of Wilfer, who's made up that lost ground, and then Supreme Leader. So racing past the mile pole and going a good gallop. Windsor Knot in the lead. From Fair of the Furs and Bedtime, then Wilfer and Supreme Leader and Purchase Paper Chase, and Sharp Noble and Lazar the back marker, and English Spring 1 from last, as Windsor Knot still makes it. Windsor Knot from Fair of the Furs. Behind Fair of the Furs is the favourite Bedtime, going smoothly on the inside with Willie Carson. Then comes Fair of the Furs on the outside, Supreme Leader next, Lazar still the back marker, Windsor Knot still the leader. Windsor Knot from Fair of the Furs, Bedtime, Wilfer on the outside of Bedtime, Sharp Noble getting a little bit closer to the lead as Supreme Leader loses a bit of ground, Lazar still the back marker, racing towards the home turn, Windsor Knot from Fair of the Furs, Bedtime on the inside of Wilfer, then comes Sharp Noble and Supreme Leader, racing towards the home turn now in the Prince of Wales Stakes, and it's Windsor Knot on the inside of Fair of the Furs for Allen, then Bedtime close in behind them in third, then comes Wilfer, then Sharp Noble trying to get on terms, racing towards the 2 furlong pole, and it's Windsor Knot from Fair of the Furs, then comes Bedtime and Wilfer as they race now towards the furlong pole. Windsor Knot from Fair of the Furs, Bedtime hanging a little bit, Willie Carson having a job to straighten him up as English Spring comes now fast towards the stand side, and it's Fair of the Furs on the far side, Bedtime in the centre, and English Spring on the near side as they race into the closing stages. It's English Spring striding away from first third. The judge could call for a photo. He has. The judge has called for a photo, but I think we'll find that it's that Pat Edery again on English Spring from Bedtime with Fair of the First third, but there could well be a Stewards inquiry here. Willie Carson was having tremendous difficulty on the favourite Bedtime, I think probably because it was hanging, but I doubt if he was squeezed up from the outside. But this we'll be able to see in the review. Officially, it's a photo finish between number 7 English Spring, number 1 Bedtime. See what you think as we review the closing stages.
Yes, two things. First of all, there is a Stewards inquiry. That was a certainty. Secondly, you've got to say that Bedtime was an unlucky loser. It's been an unsatisfactory race. There hasn't been much of a pace. Wins a nod, who made it, is now quickened up and is still in front. But Willie Carson's just looking to get out here. That's where the bump occurred, because Brown Rouse is quite justifiably keeping him in. He's got his whip in his left hand on Wilfer, and Willie cannot get out. In front now is Fair of the Firs. Bedtime's just behind him. There is a small gap, but while all that was going on, the grey filly English Springs come with a terrific run on the outside for Pat Edery. Bedtime's got through. He's now got a chance to pull it back, but he can't quicken up again at the end of this, well, 3-furlong sprint in the straight, because that's what it was. And Pat Edery, who came with a smooth, uninterrupted run, has got his second success of the meeting. He's not going to lose it, but, well, I just hope that Bedtime doesn't lose second place. He really was most unlucky. The head-on view will show the problems that Willie Carson has. That's him 3 from the right with the horse with the white face. The horse with the noseband is Fair of the Firs. The one in yellow colours on the outside of Bedtime is Wilfer, and you can see the grey on the wide outside coming with this uninterrupted run. This is when Willie wants to go. He tries to pull out, and as you can see, he just seemed to strike the quarters of Fair of the Firs and was perhaps knocked onto Wilfer. And Brown Rouse is determined to keep him in. Willie's riding with his stick in his right hand, looking for any room. Wilfer now drops away, and Bedtime gets clear. And you can see, in fact, that English Spring doesn't help the situation by drifting a little bit to the right there, but I don't think that she caused any material interference. There's just half a length in it now, but having got there, English Spring's not going to give it away. Fair of the First runs on well, but at the line, English Spring the winner, Bedtime second, Fair of the First third.
Yes, the official result after that photo. First, number 7, English Spring, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Boulding and ridden by Pat Edery. Second, number 1, Bedtime, owned by Lord Halifax, trained by Dick Hearn, ridden by Willie Carson. And third, number 4, Fair of the Firs, owned by Mrs. Sonia Rogers, trained by Liam Brown and ridden by Steve Cawthon. Fourth was number 6, Wilford. We're looking there at Bedtime, and it's curious how opinions can differ after seeing the evidence of the film patrol camera. It was a personal view that Bedtime made all his own trouble, that he was unwilling to take that opening, which was perfectly wide enough between Sharp Noble and Wilfer, but he was just hanging, and when Willie Carson wanted him to go, he hung towards Wilfer. That's my version, which is a very, very different one to Julian's. We'll just have to wait and see what view the stewards take and whether they adjust the placings in any way. The final verdict was a neck and 1.5 lengths. While we're seeing the principals in the unsettling enclosure, you might just like to have another look at that head-on version and see what you think. That's Wilfer with a corded cap, of course. The sheepskin noseband is Fair of the Firs. There's Willie Carson, the white-faced Bedtime, and Willie has been having a little push for a while now, not getting a great deal of response, and now Bedtime, watch him hang to the left now with Willie. He leans to the left there, and he actually clobbers Wilfer, in my view, and knocks Wilfer off key. Doesn't continue at very effectively until finally he does get into top gear. He's willing to race on an even keel with Willie, and once he's willing to race on an even keel, he gets into his stride. But meanwhile, Pat Edery has set up a fairly unassailable lead on this Grey Dawn filly, and although Bedtime runs on very gallantly, very gamely indeed, he's not good enough to catch her, but I don't think he was unlucky. Anyway, it's all opinion. Here, as we await the outcome of the Stewards' inquiry, are the starting prices.
First, number 7, English Spring, 14-1. Second, number 1, Bedtime, 5-4 on, favourite. And third, number 4, Fair of the Furs, 15-2. But there is a Stewards' inquiry.